Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift We are coming off the July 30th edition of Monday Night Raw. SummerSlam is now just over, or just under 2 weeks away. Or is it 3 weeks? I'm not even sure at this point. It's coming up pretty soon. About 2-3 weeks, whatever. I was not a big fan of this show, so if you enjoyed Monday Night Raw, this is a disclaimer. You might want to turn off this video now. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started with this review. It's in just under 3 weeks. There we go. The show opened up with a nice little graphic for Nikolai Volkov and Brian Christopher, but that was pretty much it. I don't believe there was any reference to either of them during the entire show, but WWE at least did the graphics for them, which I figured they would. I mean, they would do something. The actual show kicked off with the big dog, of course, Roman Reigns, the #1 contender for the Universal Championship. Reigns came out, cut his promo. Paul Heyman came out. No Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar was shown backstage reading a magazine. Jonathan Smith left a $2 super chat donation. Thank you, Jonathan. This Raw was for Katie Vick. Ouch. That is an candidate for Savage Line of the Night. Somebody can top. Heyman said that Brock is there in Miami for the show, but he'll come out if he feels like it. Roman basically said that at SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar will be his bitch. So yes, once again, Roman Reigns had to use the word bitch to get a crowd pop. So lame. I mean, WWE always goes back to that. Every time, it seems, we have Roman Reigns drop the B word for that cheap pop. Ken Terminated by Google left a $2 super chat donation. Why the F don't you replace the writers this show? Ad face. The reason is that WWE already has the money. They got the Fox deal. They got the Saudi Arabia deal. They are swimming in the Benjamins. Vince cannot be happier right now. The stock is at an all-time high. So if you think Raw is bad, guess what? WWE is still making money. They're still invested in it somehow, whether it's subscribing to the network or buying t-shirts or buying replica belts. Whatever you're doing, you're still watching, you're still investing in the product. And soon. And I'm back. Let me know if the lagging is gone. If the lagging is still bad, then it's just going to be bad. It's not my connection. My high-speed internet works great. I had 0 problems tonight with the Raw stream on Sling TV. So it's definitely not my internet. If the stream is not better, I don't know what to tell you guys at this point. We have Wade here. Wade, ringscoops.com is here. So thank you for tuning in, Wade. All right, so back to Raw. The opening segment I thought was crap. Then we had Brock Lesnar backstage reading a magazine, made for some funny memes, including the Sable Playboy, and of course the who booked this crap graphic, which I used for this video. I felt that was appropriate. Chris Nowak says the same old Reigns promos. Sean White says, I think Brock Lesnar sounds intimidating when he talks. I will say that Brock did a good job tonight, even though it's not what the fans really want. Brock is going back to being the heel again. WWE is really trying to get you to cheer Roman Reigns and boo Brock Lesnar at all costs. And we even had Brock mention to Paul Heyman that he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't care about the fans. he doesn't even watch the show. And I was watching this and I'm like, you know what? The idea here is to get people to not like Brock Lesnar, but I'm actually personally, I'm relating to Brock Lesnar because I'm having a hard time watching this show. So when Heyman is talking to Lesnar and Lesnar says, Paul, I don't watch the show, I'm popping in my mind. I'm cheering for Brock Lesnar when he says that. I don't think this is going to work. Maybe it worked for this crowd. I could hear some pro-Roman chants on this show. But Brooklyn, I don't think it's going to work. I would be very surprised if the crowd reacted the way WWE wants them to react at the pay-per-view. And I thought on this show, you know, maybe we're going to see something with Lashley. Maybe we're going to see something with Strowman. Something just to get fans excited for SummerSlam. And maybe let people believe there's going to be a different direction rather than just babyface Roman Reigns versus heel Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Can the big dog run Brock Lesnar out of WWE and end his, the worst Universal Champion of all time? And we'll get to that here in just a few minutes. I'm not feeling this match at all. And there's no direction with Braun Strowman as far as him and Brock Lesnar goes. No attempt at a cash-in tonight. Even though Lesnar's there, why not do it before the pay-per-view? Nothing. The closest thing we got was Kevin Owens tried to steal the Money in the Bank briefcase, which, you know what? Doesn't really make sense because, okay, so if Kevin Owens actually stole the briefcase, does that mean Strowman cannot cash it in? I mean, that was not really made clear. I don't know if that has ever been made clear. Maybe it has at some point, but wouldn't Strowman just get another contract? I'm confused about that. He still has the title. He's the Money in the Bank contract holder. That's his title. I don't know how that works, and I guess WWE's not even going to bother and try to explain it. But at least if that happened, if Owens stole the contract, literally stole the contract, then it would be something. Some kind of excuse so Strowman could not cash it in. Even if it doesn't make sense, at least it would have been something. But no, we did not even have that. So Owens tried to steal the contract. It was Braun Strowman versus Jinder Mahal. What an exciting match right there, by the way. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. We had this match with Jinder Mahal and Braun Strowman. Owens came out. He tried to steal the contract. Strowman got it back. And then Strowman chased Owens to the back and got counted out. So Jinder Mahal technically defeated Braun Strowman by countout. And this was the last we saw of Strowman on this show. Strowman did not come out. That would have been an easy way to get Brock Lesnar out there. Strowman comes out, says, I'm cashing in right now, and Brock has to come out there. Would have made perfect sense, but this is WWE, and they don't do things that make sense. Instead, we get Roman Reigns and this mission to continue to try and get fans to cheer for Roman Reigns, and it just continues to be shoved down our throats. Terrible booking, in my opinion, all around. Not a fan of how Strowman's being utilized. Not a fan of how Roman Reigns is being utilized. Brock Lesnar, Jinder Mahal, money into the NoDQ fund, whatever that may be. All right, so let's move on here back to Monday Night Raw. The other possibility for this money into the NoDQ fund, whatever that may be. All right, so let's move on here back to Monday Night Raw's Universal title match at the SummerSlam pay-per-view is maybe adding Bobby Lashley in a triple threat. But no, that did not happen either. So let's talk about the Bobby Lashley segment on Raw tonight. Elias came out, he started to sing a song. And here's another thing that I did not understand. Elias brought up The Rock. You know what? I feel if that match is going to happen at some point, then yeah, reference The Rock. But if you're going to have Bobby Lashley come out immediately after name dropping The Rock, what is wrong with you? You're just setting up Bobby Lashley for failure. You're setting up the crowd to be disappointed. Listen to that reaction. Go back and watch it. I know I don't recommend people watching Raw, but go watch that segment on YouTube. As soon as Elias name dropped The Rock, the crowd went crazy. So you're setting them up for something huge. They're thinking, you know what? The Rock lives in Miami, is from Miami. Maybe he's going to show up. The problem with name dropping The Rock is that people expect The Rock and they get all excited, and then you bring out Bobby Lashley. And to me, that's just not fair to Lashley. You're basically setting him up as a disappointment. Bob the Lash. Somebody called him the Lash. Maybe WWE's trying to make him The Rock by having him sing with Elias. So I guess his new nickname is Bob the Lash. Andre's here, by the way, and he says the new hairdo suits me. So thank you for that, Andre. Andre's here. Wade is here. We got a big crowd tonight. Over 260 people watching live. So thank you guys very much on that. Bob the Lash came out with Elias and basically started singing a song. I don't know the song, but I think it's a popular song. I'm just not familiar with it. It was terrible. Lashley's singing was TV death. And by the way, for those of you that don't remember Wade from Ring Scoops, he was the original voice of NoDQ CAW. For those of you that remember that far back in NoDQ.com history. So big shout out to Wade. Check out ringscoops.com. Big part of the early period of NoDQ CAW. One of the pioneers of the whole CAW era back in the day. It was Rockin' Robin. I don't know that song. I'm not hip like the cool kids. Although maybe it was a song that was popular 30 years ago and WWE just isn't hip with the times. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. Have you heard Elias's album? Yeah, I did listen to it on Spotify and it was fine. It's not something I would ever listen to again, but it's good for one listen. I'll say that. I chuckled at a few of the moments on that album. EP, I guess you could call it. Anthony says it's by Jackson 5. Okay, I'm not familiar with that song then. I'm just not familiar with that one. Kayfabe Candy Ass says it was popular 60 years ago. There you go. I like how... I like the fact that WWE thinks that Elias will get heat by making fun of Pitbull. That's another thing where I popped for that. When Elias started ripping into Pitbull, I'm like, hell yeah, Elias, I'm with you. So yeah, maybe for some of the 10-year-olds in the crowd, it worked as far as getting heel heat, but I personally was popping for that. I'm like, damn right, Elias, I'm with you on that. Boston Punk says it's no Frank Zappa. By the way, if you do like Frank Zappa or Captain Beefheart, I don't know if anybody out there knows who they are besides Boston Punk. Check out my dad's music, Zoog's Rift, Zoogz, on Spotify, if you like that kind of music. Just throwing that out there for a cheap plug. So yeah, anyways, Lashley sang it was terrible, and Pitbull is terrible too. Maybe I have terrible taste in music, but I think Pitbull is just complete garbage. So when he ripped into Pitbull, I was like, this is awesome. This is a great moment. Elias is my guy. And yeah, Pitbull, Bo Rida, Flo Rida, not Bo Rida, Flo Rida. I wish Bo Rida would come back. I know I say that every week. Speaking of saying things every week, hey guys, Evolution. It's a historic pay-per-view. It's groundbreaking. yada, yada, yada. They showed another video package. Is this going to happen every single week? What's the deal here? Are we going to get this shoved in our faces every single week about this Evolution pay-per-view? Yeah, we get it. It's historic. It's amazing. It's really great for the women. But don't make a big deal out of this every single week. You take away the authenticity of the fan feedback, the fact that people wanted to see this. By doing this and promoting it every single week, you're turning people off of it, I think, by doing this. It's in October. You have SummerSlam. You have Hell in a Cell. One pay-per-view at a time. I just feel like it's making it not feel organic anymore. Yeah, the women's revolution, evolution, whatever you want to call it, the fans made a difference. They were very outspoken about it. And have a good night, TJS. But now you're just forcing it on everybody, and you're overdoing it. And I feel like this is just going to ruin the show if WWE keeps doing this every single week. There is another Saudi Arabia event in November. All right, let's move on here. I've said enough about that. So yeah, Bobby Lashley, he got beat up by Elias, laid out, whatever. And yeah, no Lashley at the Universal title match for SummerSlam. I guess it's going to be Lashley versus Elias, whatever. Disappointing. We had Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin, which took up much of the first hour of Monday Night Raw. I'm not really a fan of the longer matches on Raw, especially ones that take up 3 segments. If you do a two match segment, that's fine, or 2 segments for a match, I meant to say. I'm cool with that, but doing 3, I think, is pushing it, and especially when you're doing the 50-50 booking. So we had Finn Balor win at the pay-per-view, and now Baron Corbin gets his win back. Just the same old 50-50 booking. I guess the problem I have is I'm just sick of seeing the same people in the same matches every single week. I feel like WWE should change it up a little bit. Let's see some different matches, something we haven't seen before. I think the fact that WWE seems to be on this rematch kick, where you have to do rematches all the time, you have to do the same matches over and over again, and WWE just does this 50-50 booking, which doesn't really do anything for anyone. Demand the Best says 50-50 booking should be banned. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. Mark my words, Finn Balor will be the Demon Balor at SummerSlam. Of course, because that would make no sense whatsoever. Finn Balor could have been the Demon at WrestleMania in a very important match at the biggest show of the year, and he chose not to. So, of course, at a lesser pay-per-view, in a lesser match, he'll show up as the Demon. Of course. Vintage WWE. John says, when is Finn Balor going to get a personality? You mean you're not a fan of him stealing Shinsuke Nakamura's ring jacket and wearing it to the ring? That doesn't give him a name? Michael Wayne says rematch equals rerun. Mike B says, Aaron, what's next for the deleter of words? Catering? I don't know. Hamp Connell with a $2 super chat donation. I'm ready for the women's kitchen match at Evolution. I don't think we're getting a kitchen match at Evolution. Sorry to disappoint you on that one. So yeah, I thought the match was okay, but I'm just not a fan of the 50-50 booking. Baron Corbin wins. Moving on here. We had Natalya versus Alicia Fox. And we had Ronda Rousey at ringside in Natalya's corner. Elias in Alicia Fox's corner. Like it's this week, a one-on-one people in respective corners. Again, I wasn't too high on this. Alicia Fox did pick up the win over Natalya due to the outside interference. So apparently Ronda Rousey is not good enough to prevent Alexa Bliss from costing Natalya the match. Whatever. Afterwards, Ronda Rousey attacked Alicia, and then Alexa threw her into the barricade area. And then Ronda was all angry, and then the match was made for next week. It's going to be Ronda Rousey in her first official match on Monday Night Raw against Alicia Fox. So there you go. Ronda Rousey will be wrestling on Raw next week. I guess that's some kind of hook for next week. There's not a whole lot. They're doing Mojo Rawley versus Bobby Roode, and let me tell you, that's not going to be a hook for next week. So they did have something to get people, I guess, interested in tuning into next week's show. W Glass 90 says Alicia Fox is supposedly one of Kevin Dunn's favorites. Could be. It's interesting because there was that whole backstage incident with Alicia Fox and Travis Brown, I think his name is, Ronda's husband. And WWE did not mention that, though. They could play up on that and bring that up for the match next week, but I don't believe there was any reference to that on this show. Kayfabe Candy Ass says she's so angry and has to wait 7 days for a match. They should have done it tonight. Well, they gotta have something for next week. I mean, otherwise there's literally no reason to watch next week. Are you gonna tune in next week for Mojo Rawley versus Bobby Roode? I don't think so. Jeremiah Dorset says, Aaron, Impact Wrestling is just as bad as WWE. I actually think Impact has been okay lately. I think they're slowly starting to gain some momentum. I don't know how far they'll be able to get back in the right direction, but they're at least improving over where they've been before. I will give them that. Matt with a $5 super chat donation. When, if at all, do you think we will see Stone Cold again? Wrestling, he will not be wrestling. Appearance-wise, I could see him showing up anywhere, anytime, maybe another WrestleMania. But there's not a whole lot for him to do unless there's sort of special moment you can do with him. I mean, he's already done referee gimmicks over and over again. He was at WrestleMania 32. He did the thing with Hogan at WrestleMania 30 and The Rock. I just don't know what else you do with Austin. But yeah, I could see him every now and then making an appearance. I don't think we've seen the last of him, but at the same time, I don't think we're going to be seeing him really doing much of anything moving forward. And he was at Raw 50. I keep forgetting about that. That was a big deal, or should have been a big deal with Vince and Shane and Stephanie, but I keep forgetting that he was there for that. Ooh, Michael Wayne. I could see Stone Cold on SmackDown 1000. That is certainly a possibility. I could see that. That would make sense at least. Some kind of hook for that show. Chris says Stone Cold would make an interesting GM. He was already GM though. Again, what can he do that he hasn't done before? Not a whole lot. All right, let's move on here. Next up, we had Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, which was a fine match, you know. I like the stuff they did with the bottom part of the ring. McIntyre using it on Rollins, the steel part of that ring at the bottom, and then Rollins turning around and using it on McIntyre. I thought that was good stuff. We don't see that all too often in WWE. So I thought that was kind of interesting. The match was fine. I'm not sure what was going on with Dolph Ziggler's look. Is it just me, or did he resemble Chris Jericho circa 1999 with the shirt and the hair, the straight hair and the shirt and the pants? He looked like early to mid 1999 Chris Jericho, or maybe the early Y2J. Yeah, so 1 week he's Shawn Michaels, 1 week he's Mr. Perfect, 1 week he's Chris Jericho. Dylan says he looks like a young, better fit Greg Valentine. And Kayfabe Candy Ass says he looked like Hillary Clinton. Ooh, that's pretty strict. Who wants a Bankai says, been watching your channel since I was in 8th grade, and now I'm going to be a senior in 2 weeks. LOL, keep up the great work. Well, thank you for that, and I apologize if I butchered your username, but thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Ring Scoops says he's HZK. I like it. And by the way, Ziggler still has the record scratch, so if you retweet what I sent out on Twitter, you have a chance to win a free NoDQ.com t-shirt if Ziggler record scratch, which I think it's inevitable, right? One of these days, unless he gets fired suddenly, he's got to get rid of that record scratch. The day he gets rid of the record scratch, somebody will be winning a free NoDQ.com t-shirt. WGlass90 says Ziggler is completely lame. He could never get his personality form his own ideas. I know some people don't like his looks. Is the video still bad? I already swapped it from the other connection. So let me know if the connection is bad. I'll try to go back one more time. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's out of my hands here. I tried the 4G. I tried the Wi-Fi. It's got to be YouTube. So let me know. Let me know if the connection is bad, and I will change it here real quick. All right, I'm getting major lag. I'm going to try one more time, and then we're just going to have to go with it. So 1 second. Back? I am back now. Dylan, if I do Facebook Live, I cannot get Super Chat donations, so that just doesn't work out. I'm pretty sure it's YouTube. I don't know why it's glitchy sometimes. My Wi-Fi is great. I never have problems with it streaming and browsing the internet. And the 4G usually works well too. So I think it's got to be YouTube, some kind of issue. But whatever happens now, it's out of my hands. We just got to go home and finish this video. It's hit and miss. It seems like some nights it works better than others. Moving on here, we had Rollins hit the double stomp, or not the double stomp, the curb stomp, excuse me. And then he was about to win the match, or maybe win the match. That's the idea, that who knows if McIntyre would have kicked out or not. And that's when we had McIntyre come in, or not McIntyre, excuse me, Ziggler come in for the DQ. Man, I'm completely blanking out on this match. Maybe it wasn't that good after all. If I can't even remember it a couple hours later. We had a backstage segment with Rollins and McIntyre and Ziggler, and the two of them jumped Rollins, left him laying. I'm wondering if we're going to see Dean Ambrose make his return at SummerSlam, because we have a 2-on-1 situation here with Rollins being beat up by McIntyre and Ziggler. Seems like SummerSlam would be a good opportunity for Dean Ambrose to make his return and even the odds. And you know what that means? More tag team matches, playa. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, yay, another pseudo Shield reunion. Woo. I could detect the lack of excitement with that comment there. Speaking of lack of excitement, we had Apollo Crews versus Akam from the Authors of Pain. And guess what? Apollo Crews defeated Akam with the fruit roll-up. So yeah, Authors of Pain losing matches now on Monday Night Raw, even though it's a singles match. Not something I would have done, but whatever. I I don't understand why Titus Worldwide, they should not be getting any wins over Authors of Pain, period. Yeah, don't care about this feud at all. Michael Wayne says AP losing matches, yuck. W Glass 90 says, sounds like an exciting match, sarcasm. I guess on the plus side, as Maw Wrestling says, Dana was looking very good tonight. SN 1281 says Titus Worldwide is cringeworthy. And John, I agree with you, John. The AOP should not talk at all. Yeah, definitely. They did yet another little promo. Wasn't as bad as last week, but still. I think having them talk just ruins the mystique about them. Moving on here. Let's see what else I need to talk about. The Revival versus Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. So it started off with a promo from the B team. The leader of worlds come out. The deleters of worlds come out. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. They have new t-shirts. I think they're new at least. Maybe they've been around for a while. We had the Revival come out, and this set up a match between the Revival and Bray. I believe it was Bray that took the fall this time, so it hasn't been pinfalls. Bray Wyatt is going back to his Eater of Pinfalls moniker. And the Revival versus the B team at SummerSlam. Crowd did not care about this match, by the way. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. The B stands for Dream. I think it's lame. I think the comedy, the tag team champions, and they shouldn't be doing comedy, in my opinion. Ring Scoops says, dude, where did you get that awesome Bernie Sanders t-shirt? I love good old Wade there with the little Bernie Sanders. Well, actually, if you saw the Saturday Night Live skits, then here's, ladies and gentlemen. Austin Punk gives Ring Scoop some credit on that one. I'm sure some people get the joke. All right, let's move on here. I think it's a pretty good joke. Anyways, what do you guys think about Revival versus the B team at SummerSlam? I think that it should have been Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt not losing the titles and facing the Revival, but whatever. Tom, nothing I can do, guys. I've switched it back twice now, so it's going to be laggy for the rest of the video. We'll go ahead and wrap this up here in a few minutes. I apologize. Not much I can do. It's out of my hands at this point. Welcome to Lag City, bitch. Thank you, YouTube. I just wanted to say, the crowd did not care. It's pretty obvious the crowd's not really invested in the B team. They were chanting for match as well as Rusev Day. So there you go. That's how to know about what the crowd thinks of the tag team division at this point. We had another tag 2 in a row here. We had Bayley. Guys, I know the stream is lagging. Nothing I can do about it now. So, nothing I can do at this point. I tried switching it twice. Not much else I can do. Bayley and Sasha against Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott. So now Bayley are wearing matching outfits. Match. They hugged. Not really. Frankly, I don't care. That's all I have to say about that. Main event segment with Brock Lesnar coming out finally at the very end. Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin were telling Lesnar to get out there. Heyman came out. He said he cannot control Lesnar. He tried. Kurt Angle was like, shit, basically fired. Heyman on his knees. Vegas angle. Brock came out, got in his face, said, "Do you have a problem with me?" And then the fact that he would put his hand on Heyman. Heyman did a job on the show. And I'm back. Wow, YouTube actually disconnected me completely. Thanks a lot, YouTube. By the way, the chat has been going the entire time, so it's not my internet connection. Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated tonight. I don't know why the connection is so bad, but it's hit and miss. Most of the time it seems to be good. Other times it's just laggy. I don't know why. But to finish my thought, Paul Heyman did a good job, but the problem is that it's not what the fans want. WWE's trying to force Brock Lesnar as a heel and force Roman Reigns as a babyface on the audience when it's clear they don't want it. Nelson with a $5 super chat donation. The last segment might foreshadow the big dog being a Paul Heyman guy. I appreciate the super chat, Nelson, but I doubt it. I don't sense that's going to happen. It would be great, don't get me wrong, but I don't sense that is going to be the case. I think WWE should just have Reigns win and move on here, which I said that for WrestleMania, and they dragged it out. So overall, wasn't a big fan of Raw. I think I have to go back to the Big D for Monday Night Raw. I think I give this show a solid D. I'm leaning towards a D-, but Paul Heyman helped, Seth Rollins helped, as he usually does, and they kept it just above that F level, maybe even above a D-. So I'll stick with a D. Nice big fat D for Monday Night Raw. What did you guys think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Leave a comment on NoDQ.com or YouTube. Let me know on Twitter what you thought. Keith is a big solid D. Nice. Aaron, get the D. John says D for Dodo. I'm not looking forward to SummerSlam at this point, at least on the Raw side. And I feel like pretty much everyone went down in value on this show. I'm trying to think who was elevated from this episode of Raw, and I feel like pretty much nobody. Who really gained from this show as far as a character goes, where you care more about that character coming off of Raw? Somebody in the chat room, throw a name out there. Somebody who you thought was elevated from the writing on this show. I'm curious to know. Maybe Elias, but not for the reasons WWE wants. John says Drew was a star, even though he got hit with the curb stomp, and the idea was that he was probably going to lose if it wasn't for Ziggler's interference. Fulham Job says Fox. Well, Fox until next week when she gets destroyed by Ronda Rousey. I mean, she's just basically being set up to take the fall next week. But as Wade puts it, Alicia's profile was raised by actually appearing. So for her, just getting a spot on Raw is really better than nothing. Converse Craig says Ryder because he wasn't in catering. Kayfabe Candy Ass says the Huggin' Boss connection? Ha 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 ha, just kidding. I'll tell you one person that wasn't elevated tonight, and that was me, due to YouTube not having my stream load properly. It's not my internet connection. I know I sound like a broken record here, but yeah, that definitely took me a step down this week. So thanks a lot, YouTube. Ring Scoops says I want to do a show with Jeff Meacham. What about me? What about Virtue? We gotta get the old Webmaster Wade on a NoDQ panel. Maybe the NoDQ review one of these weeks. Never say never. Maybe challenge Greg Cherry for the Wrestling Trivia Championship, Wade. So that's it for Raw. Not much else to say about it. I will be back tomorrow night for another edition of NoDQ Live. Hopefully the stream doesn't lag as much. Kfib Candy says the super chats did elevate me though. That is true. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I apologize again for the lagging. Michael Wayne says it's the worst lagging. It's worst lagging as Ziggler's record scratch. Ring Scoop says Dolph Lagler. There we go. All right, guys. So on that note, I will end this video. I appreciate the viewership, and I will see you guys tomorrow night for more.